If you could change any choices you have ever made, would you? You can always make another choice and change the course of your success. Everyone has the potency to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here is the host of Inspired Choices radio show, Christine McIver.
Welcome, everyone, to tonight's show. I am your host, Christine McIver, and we are talking about speaking to learn your expertise. Actually, the title is Speak to Release Your Expertise. I've got a lot of things that I want to share with you about this show, but before we get into that, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am a business optimization expert. And what does that mean? I've been in business for more than 15 years, and I work with clients and customers, entrepreneurs from all over the world to really help them to step up their business, to up level and scale their business, and honestly, to really be able to reach their clientele with a lot more ease and a lot more pleasure in their lives. I love to work with clients who are looking for things that could be much simpler, systems that could be put into place so that they can free up their time to actually work with their clients and their customers. So if you're looking for that kind of support, if you're looking for people that really have your back and a company that cares about you and you'd like to make a huge difference going forward, reach out to me, Christine at inspiredchoices.ca. We can get on a call and we can look at what it is that you really do need support with. I'm also the CEO of the Inspired Choices Network. And here we really work with people that are looking to be able to have a global reach, somebody that wants to be an authority in their area of expertise. And we do that by bringing your voice to the world on more than 300 platforms. So if you have been thinking about possibly starting your own radio podcast or TV show, but just can't imagine how to do it and you'd like a team to have your back, do reach out again to Christine at inspiredchoices.ca. All right, let's get into tonight's show. It's such an important topic, and it's certainly something that I talk about all of the time. This show is all about speaking to release your expertise. So, how many times do you hear yourself or other people say, "What is my purpose? Where should I focus? How do I find out what I am an expert in?" The entrepreneurial journey and the journey of life can feel daunting when we just don't know what we are to focus on, leaving us feeling financially sometimes and emotionally bankrupt. We spend so much time in school searching for what we're good at, searching for what we should do. Then we do that in work. And then we're taking all sorts of courses, trying to really figure out, where do I best fit in? What's best for me? Well, the truth is, it's not outside of you. You're not going to find this in courses or in workplaces or even in school. You're going to find this gift of you inside of you. Your expertise is inside of you. And I want to talk about that tonight. But the truth is, it's challenging to create the correct environment to extract that expertise and to present it to the world. So, how many of you people here tonight are really struggling with learning how to bring your voice out to the world and where to actually focus, where to know, hey, this is what I'm really great at. This is where I want to become an expert, or where I know I'm an expert in this area, but just have no idea how to bring this out to the world. Well, so many of us, and you can raise your hand, you can put hashtag me wherever you are. You can definitely join us at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com/chat room, where you can be participating in the conversation tonight on this show. But so many of us are struggling. We don't know what we're an expert in. We just don't know. We have something on our heart, or something's popping for us to be like, you know what? I know I am supposed to be doing something amazing. I absolutely know that there's something pulling me How many of you are in a job right now? How many of you are in a job that you're not happy in? How many of you are in a job that is unfulfilling, that you don't feel like there's a future there for you, that you don't feel like it's really bringing out all of you? Many of us, most people actually in the world are in a position like that. And what we are often doing, and I'm sure many of you will identify with this, is we're often thinking about, what am I going to be recognized for? What is someone, or when is someone going to say, hey, you're really good at that? Have you ever thought about going into that? Or, hey, you do this as a hobby. Have you ever thought about doing that? How many of us are actually spend our lives waiting to be recognized, for someone to shine a light on us in order for us to see, hey, somebody thinks I'm good at this. Maybe this is my journey. Maybe this is my area of expertise. The problem with that is that we are giving our power and our control to someone else. We're saying, hey, they know something that I don't know. They know better than I know, because oftentimes we have this lack of confidence in who we are and where we're supposed to be in the world. When you listen to yourself, when you hear the words coming out of your mouth, and you hear the words of your being criticizing yourself, you're you're saying to yourself, you know what, you're not very good at this, or you're probably never going to be good at that, or you're in this space of saying negative things like, oh, I'm just never going to get this. When you hear negative things coming out of your mouth, and when you start to feel those heavy negative energies of perhaps victim or sadness around what you would like to be doing in the world, your frustration or your confusion, and you hear those words coming out of your mouth, I want to invite you to pay attention. If you can, make a note of what you're thinking. Make a note of the things that you are saying or hearing in your mind that are negative. Those are actually gifts. Those are gifts to show you where you have belief systems that are not true for you. You see, you came here to this planet at this time in order to create and contribute to the world so that we all can create the world that we desire. Now, there's a lot of people in the world right now that are feeling frustrated, that are overwhelmed and feeling hopeless. Many, many, many people, unfortunately, are looking at chaoses that are going on outside of themselves, things that they have very little control over, if any. And they are absorbing that. They are buying into, oh my God, the world is collapsing. Things are terrible. Look at, it's awful. I just had a conversation with somebody earlier who said those very words to me, that, you know what, scientists are saying that this is happening and this is happening, and the world is going to just diminish or explode or all sorts of different things. And what is really important to know is that that is an opinion. That is just an opinion. You came here. You came here into this time and space in order to be able to create and contribute. Because you know what? There's something inside of you that is here to contribute to the world. We all have something to contribute. You didn't come here to be miserable. You didn't come here to be second best. You didn't come here to be broke. You didn't come here to be hungry. You didn't come here to be angry. You came here out of choice, and out of choice to create something greater. So what's really important is that we start to pay attention to our words, our negative words, and they may seem so insignificant, but they're not. Our words to ourselves, the thoughts that we have in our mind, they are really shining a huge light on what's going on inside of us that needs attention. How many of you have a coach? And when you're speaking to your coach or your counselor or your mentor, you hear yourself complaining, talking about things about yourself in a not so positive light, right? When you're bringing that up and out of you without the energy of victim on it, your coach or your counselor, or your mentor can absolutely support you and give you a different perspective to invite you in to look in a new direction. But many of us, that when we're feeling these negative ways, we hide away. We try to suppress what we're truly feeling because we want to have a successful business, do well in a relationship, show up in a community positively. But what's underneath there is actually having a much greater impact on our lives and our businesses than we even know. We've got to be aware and we've got to pay attention, not from the space of giving it energy, but from an educational piece. These negative things that I'm saying, these negative things that I am allowing in my mind are impacting me. Okay, so that's the very first thing that I want you to really get. Now, we're just about up to our first break. And when we come back, we're going to start to lean into how to find that expertise by speaking. But we first have to start to be aware of those negative things, those negative thoughts that we are having. We all have them. Sometimes we have them far more often than other times. But think of it like a bump in the road. Think of it like a pothole in the road. When you're driving down that road repeatedly, again and again and again, if you don't make another choice to get by or move in a new direction, you're going to keep hitting that pothole, right? So it's so important that we pay attention to the potholes, to the negative thoughts and feelings that we are having, so we can make another choice. So I want you to stay tuned. I'm Christine. I'm the host here of the Inspired Choices show on the Inspired Choices Network. When we get back, we're going to dive deeply into using your voice to cultivate your expertise. Stick around, my friends.
Many of us make choices based on our past experiences or based on what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join the Inspired Choices show with business optimization expert Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know, but may not choose, that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back. She brings all her expertise to every show. Are you ready to create and live the life you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with business optimization expert Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, my friends. Yes, I am Christine. I am the host of the Inspired Choices show here on the Inspired Choices Network. And tonight we are talking all about speaking. speaking to really discover your expertise. And when we are willing to speak, to release our expertise, we step into a level of us that we've never even imagined is possible. Now, first and foremost, many people have had the experience that they are not supposed to speak, that they have been told to be quiet, that what comes out of their mouth is excessive, what comes out of their mouth doesn't make any sense, that people aren't going to believe them. Many of us have that story in our lives. How many of you have that story in your past? Or when you go to speak, you're judging yourself the whole time. Or this is a good one. How many of you go to speak, but before you speak, because you were told to think before you speak, you go through the evaluation in your head and you judge the entire thing. And you either lose your thoughts on it or you just pull back and say nothing. So many of us, so many of us have had that experience. I want to invite you in to speak. I want to invite you in to share what you are aware of in the world. Now, when you speak to release your expertise, it's not all going to happen at once. Your expertise when you speak, perhaps today or tomorrow, is not going to maybe be something that is going to elevate your business or really bring you into a space of feeling super confident. But the gift of you arrived with you here. We have unfortunately covered it up with layers of judgments and how am I supposed to be and what will people think of me? And we have pushed our expertise down again and again and again. We are in such a huge space of judging ourselves and questioning our every move. We question our every move because we're comparing ourselves to someone else. What anybody else thinks of you is none of your business. Because what they think of you has absolutely nothing to do with you unless you give it that energy. How many of you are giving other people's opinions of you energy? How many of you are shutting yourself down because you're waiting for that person to criticize yourself? We see people in very public positions being massively criticized. You know, I watch again and again where people step up and they share their brilliance. And what these other individuals oftentimes get is such negative feedback from others. Don't give it your energy. My mom used to always say is pay them no mind. Pay them no mind. They don't know you. And they are not the people that are looking to hire you. They're not the people. They're not your people. If anyone is doing that, they're not your people. Don't give them so much energy. Don't give these negative thoughts so much attention that it gets them, their egos boosted up to think that they have power and control over you. No one has power and control over you. My friends, when you begin to speak and you truly step out into the world and you start talking about what you are aware of. As a business owner, let's take it from that angle. As you begin to speak and really share what's on your heart without a concern about what someone else thinks, you're going to begin to be surprised. You're going to begin to be surprised at what is coming out. You see, our vocal cords, our voice is actually the creative center of who we are. And when we speak, our creativity starts to come through. Our ideas start to come through our voice. And our awareness starts to be honed more and more and more. One of the best choices I ever made was saying yes 13 years ago to having my own radio show. Having my own radio show and podcast, it was one of the best choices I have ever made because it challenged me to step up. It challenged me to dig deep into what I know. Of course, I've continued to educate myself. Of course, I've continued to really get support as I move forward. But my voice is the vehicle that starts to release my expertise into the world. And it wasn't until I started to do my own show that that was a platform that actually put me in the position of regularly stepping up, regularly digging deep into my awareness. It's through this opportunity of speaking that I've gotten to know and I've gotten deeply underneath all of the muck, all of the belief systems of everybody else, or the worry of what everybody else is thinking about me. And that is when I started to cultivate my awareness. I started to own what I knew. Do you have a speaking opportunity that you could step into that will challenge you? And maybe it will make you nervous. Maybe you'll want to get some training in speaking. That's all wonderful. But the fact of the matter is in order for you to cultivate your expertise, to really dig in, to know what you know, is you've got to keep speaking. You have got to keep digging and hearing what you're saying, right? You've got to hear the words that are coming out of your mouth. You have got to understand that as you step into this, as you really step into speaking and coming from the space of, I desire to know my expertise. I desire to learn more and more about who I am. That is when you are going to be stepping into the world of you. Welcome. Welcome to the world of you, where your expertise is going to come out more and more. You know, we can all be experts in many, many different areas, but to really dig into the area that you're an expert in and you love, and you have such a strong in your heart knowing, that takes time. But the faster you begin to speak without judgment of you, the faster that this is going to be released into the world. Isn't that fantastic? You, my friend, you have the key to your expertise. Your voice holds more information for you than it does for anyone else. The more that you speak, the more that you hear your words, and maybe even you have it recorded, like having your podcast recorded, and then you have it transcribed and you read the words that you spoke, or you listen to the show after, or you watch yourself on video without judgment. You are going to be surprised. I guarantee this. You're going to be surprised by what came out of your voice. Because one of the best things that I've ever done, as I said, is to have my own show. But my show is live. The really big gift in that is you have to dig deep. You have to dig deeper than you've ever dug before when you are live, because you've got to show up. You can't edit. You know, there's a lot of people in the world that are doing podcasts, that are doing TV shows, but what they're doing is they're editing after the fact. Guess what? As long as you know you can edit it, you're not going to dig deep. You're going to be in your thoughts about what are people going to think? Oh my God, that sounded terrible. Wait, stop. Let's redo that. Cut that. And they go on and on and on. I've had many people have desired to have a show with me here on the network, and they wanted to be able to edit before it went out to the world. That's not how we do this. And I can tell you, I've had so many hosts say, you know, I was so nervous in the beginning, Christine, but it has really added to my level of expertise in speaking. So that's one huge benefit from speaking, is you become a stronger speaker. But as you speak, especially when you're doing it live, as you speak and then you go back and you hear what you've said, you read what you've said, you start to become fascinated by the things that have come out of your mouth. Because when you're live, especially when you're live and you have an audience, right? Sometimes it feels like you're having an out of body experience. Sometimes you feel so nervous, you don't even realize what you're saying. And that actually can be one of the biggest gifts, because you and your ego get out of the way and you allow that brilliance to come through you. Your voice is a gift to the world. Your voice is something that people desire to have. But not only that, you brought yourself into this body and time, and you definitely came here in order to contribute to the world. You know something that no one else knows. You have a way of delivering information that only certain people can hear. I've said this so many times. If you and I were both reading a script and we were both going through it and we said it exactly the same, there would be people who would never hear me that would hear you. And there would be people that would hear me that would never hear you. I don't know if I said that right. If I said it wrong, but you understand what I'm saying. The energy that you are, the love in your heart that you're delivering that information with, will be picked up by the people looking for you. But if you don't speak, if you don't step up in the world and share your brilliance, share your expertise, if you hide away and try to make it perfect, if you hold back because you're worried that they're going to judge you on LinkedIn, people that you know that you're connected to, your family, they're judging you. Oh my gosh, I could never go on TikTok. That's just crazy, right? People say these things all the time. I'm here to tell you, you have nothing to worry about, because you have your own back, right? The universe has your back. You came here to share your brilliance. What are you waiting for? You may not know yet today what your expertise is. You might say, you know what, Christine, I started this business and I'm really good at X. Okay, cool. So you're good at that and that's something you're doing. Fantastic. I want to invite you into continuing to expand. I want to invite you in to keep challenging yourself. Keep digging. You know, when I started my show, oh my gosh, in 2011, I came in and my title was a life coach. That's what I did. And when I was going along and I was expanding my skills, my interests, and using my voice more and more, I stepped into a new title. And I stepped into a business coach. And then I continued along and I've continued to evolve, just like you're going to continue to evolve and learn about you when you are showing up in the world with your voice. Well, today I feel so incredibly confident, but I'm not going to say forever and ever, but I feel incredibly confident with who I am and how I show up in the world and what I am contributing to the world. And the title that I know is so in alignment with where I am at and where my expertise at is business optimization expert. I know I'm an expert. I love business and I love to optimize what others bring to the world. I'm very confident and I continue to step in and utilize my voice to learn more and more and more about who I am. I would love for you to do the same. And I would love to invite you in to having that level of confidence so you too can feel this experience of showing up where you know you are right where you belong. All right, we are up to our next break of the show. I'm Christine. I'm your host tonight on the Inspired Choices show on the Inspired Choices Network. Please stick around. I've got lots more I want to share with you.
Many of us make choices based on our past experiences or based on what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join the Inspired Choices show with business optimization expert Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know, but may not choose, that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back. She brings all her expertise to every show. Are you ready to create and live the life you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with business optimization expert Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine at InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. If you have just joined us, please go back and listen to the first two segments, because this is where I really laid out what you need to be paying attention to and what you need to be looking at in order to really bring that expertise to the world. So this title of tonight's show is Speak to Release Your Expertise. Speak to release. When you are not speaking, you don't get 100% of your expertise. You don't uncover what it is that you know. As I said before, we are often getting layers and layers and layers that we have to dig under because of the belief systems, the judgments, the everything that we've been bought into, that we've heard from other people, right? We have to dig underneath there, and we need to get rid of, release all of that that does not fit us. So here's the thing. If you pay attention to a young child has zero filters, zero filters. They're not worried about what you think. They're not worried about, are they going to say it the right way or the wrong way, right? We have so many examples of children, out of the mouths of babes, what they used to say, right? Out of the mouths of babes, because they speak the truth. They have no worry about what anyone else thinks. Now, if we could take them from that position in their lives and bring them forward about 25 years, oh my gosh, the brilliance that they would be bringing to us, right? Now, I know that each generation is really allowing less and less and less of that to impact them rather. I do also know that there's still a lot of people hurting in the world and a lot of people feeling super frustrated and lost. I have to share that we have a summit coming up called Sparks of Hope, Shooting for Success. And this summit is going to be something that is going to inspire many, many, many people. It's going to feel like they've landed in a place that these individuals support and really guide and assist them to come out of those feelings of hopelessness. When you feel hopeless, when you feel like there's something wrong with you, you're not speaking up. You're hiding away. You're judging yourself a great deal. I want you to know that there's a great many people in the world that provide hope, that are hope warriors, that are hope dealers. That's going to be our hashtag hope dealers. We deal in hope each and every day. Can you say that you give yourself hope, that you believe in what you bring to the world? Sometimes it's really difficult for us to see that in ourselves. I'll tell you something, a really fast way to connect back in with hope is to support another person who's feeling hopeless. When we do that, when we really allow someone else's situation to be more important than our own, sometimes those negative thoughts dissipate and we allow our voices to be heard. I know someone that right now is struggling. They have a lot of negative going on within them and they're feeling quite hopeless. And I was thinking about them earlier today, and I thought this is an individual that I have seen again and again and again step up and be so much hope and confidence for other people who are struggling. This happens to us all at different times. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's, again, is something that shows us, that can show you where you need to eliminate the negatives, where you need to do some work in self-love, where you need to pay attention to those layers that you picked up that are not true, that are absolutely not true. But please know this, that if you need support, there is nothing better for you to do than to open your mouth and ask for support. Because we came to a planet with 8 billion people, so we could be here together in community, so that we could commune and support and lean on each other when we need to. But if you're somebody who is ready, you're like at the lead of this world where you want to provide expertise to support others, there is nothing better to release that expertise than for you to begin speaking. For you to begin speaking, first of all, each and every one of us should have a coach, because a coach can support you, show you the lies, challenge you, and give you direction where in your mind, where you're thinking negatively about yourself or you're feeling hopeless, you won't be able to see beyond. Your ability to get up out of negative situations is miraculous. So many of us have had so many challenging things in our lives. Look back at all the challenging things that you've gone through in your life. Start to list them. And every time you list them, say, I got through that. I got on the other side of that. Look at how strong I am. Look what I've done. I want you to acknowledge your strength. And I want you to begin to see that if you are in a challenging space today, you can get out of it. And if you desire deeply to be an expert in the world, to provide support, to be of service, to offer a service, to offer products that are going to contribute to other people in the world, it's time for you to have support, have guidance, and learning to speak again and again and again, to dig underneath the bullshit layers that you've bought into, that have been put upon you since you were a very young child. Every single one of us have gone through this. Every single one of us has a story, and all of those stories are valid. But my question to you is, are you going to allow those stories to continue to drive you forward? Or are you going to choose to step up and have the life that you came here to have? Are you going to choose different? Are you going to use your voice to bring out what you know? Use your voice to share with the world something that has never been told the way that you can tell it. Something that other people are desperately looking for. Imagine there are people in the world who, if they heard you speak, if they heard what you had to share, would give them hope. Would you speak then? If you knew that other people were looking for what you had to share, would you speak? Would you step up even greater if you knew you could help someone else? We all do. We've all helped other people. But imagine, just imagine that you could help someone else by allowing yourself to dig deep and release your expertise through your words. Your words are magic. Your words create new things that have never been here before. This show that I am doing right now, this show that you're listening to, live or in replay, has never been created before. Sure, other people talk about speaking. Sure, other people talk about voices. Absolutely. This is not anything incredibly new, but the way that I'm aware of this and the way that I deliver this and the energy that I have is going to deliver it to others in the world like it's never been delivered before. Other people, I know this, what I'm speaking about right now. This is going to provide hope in the world. This is going to show people that they have something else to provide. But what it's doing for me is it's showing me more and more and more where my expertise is. You see, we continue to fine tune our expertise even when we know we're in the right lane, even when we know we've got the right vehicle. You're always going to be growing. You're always going to be changing. That is a given. There's no doubt about it that this journey that you're on is never going to be done until you're done. You're always going to be contributing. You know, I love watching videos of people that are, quite elderly and hearing the words that come out of their mouths. Some of the most absolutely incredible thoughts and inspiration comes from people that have lived a very, very full and long life. And these people bring so much to our world. But they continue to share their knowledge. And what do we say? They're wise. Why are they wise? Why are elderly people so wise? Or why do we sometimes look at a young person and we say, that's an old soul in a young body? Do you know why? Well, I'll share that with you after our next break. You're listening to Inspired Choices. I'm your host, Christine McIver, on the Inspired Choices Network. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices based on our past experiences or based on what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join the Inspired Choices show with business optimization expert Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know, but may not choose, that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back. She brings all her expertise to every show. Are you ready to create and live the life you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with business optimization expert Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. Yes, I'm Christine. I'm your host here on the Inspired Choices show on the Inspired Choices Network. Tonight, we're talking all about speaking. And if you're just joining, you absolutely want to go back and listen to the other segments because it's so important for you to begin to understand how valid and vital your voice is in the world for all of us. If you don't speak, what you know doesn't get brought into the world. You, my friend, you personally came here to provide something that's never been here before. And we, the rest of the world, we require it. We truly need to know what you know. We truly need to understand something from your perspective. Before we went to break, I was talking about elderly people and why people who are very elderly, people that are in their later aspects of their life, how they say something that is so profound and so wise. And my question was, do you know why they are wise? Or someone who is a young adult that we will often say, that young person has an old soul. The reason that an elderly person is wise is because they've gone through life and they've evaluated what is important. They've evaluated where they've wasted time worrying about other people, where they've wasted time holding back and thinking that someone else knows more than they know. They're wise because they choose to speak. They choose to speak what they know. If you have an opportunity to sit with someone who's elderly and talk to them and hear the wisdom that they have accumulated in their life, do it. It will so touch your heart and inspire you. But what we need in this world right now is we need for you to cultivate your wisdom. We need it. We need it more than ever. The world is changing and it's changing fast. And those that are here to contribute something that is going to lift this world up, to give hope, to give joy, to give happiness, to have people make choices that is going to really have a broad impact, we require you. We require you to speak. We require you to speak up, to share your knowledge, and to cultivate, to continue to uncover what it is that you know, to continue to step into your brilliance, even if you don't think it's perfect, even if you're nervous, even if you're worried about what anybody else says. I want you to think about the elderly person that came to mind when I was speaking about them. Would they care? Would they be worried about what anybody else thinks? They wouldn't. Have them be with you when you speak, when you're worried about what anybody else is saying. Your brilliance isn't for everyone else, and that's all right. But what you do have to say and what you came here to be and do is such a critical piece. If you've ever read about what it takes to actually be born into a body, it absolutely is a miracle. It's not by chance. It's not just because two people had sex and bang, there you are. It's not how this works. I'm not going to get into that tonight, but I want you to really realize that it's no coincidence that you are in this world at this time and space. You're not here, as I said before, to suffer. You're not here to feel alone. You are here to make a difference in this world. You are here to not only grow yourself, but to reach out and to support other people. And for you to really release what it is that you've come here to release, you need to speak. You need to bring it through you. I want to invite you into challenging yourself to speak from that space of wisdom, from that space of, I absolutely know that this is an important piece to share with the world. I want to challenge you to ignore the noise in the world. It doesn't matter. When you ignore other people, they'll go away and they'll go to someone else. Keep speaking, keep stepping up. Our world requires you and your brilliance and your expertise. I would love to have a conversation with you. I would love to learn what you're working on in your life. Please send me an email, Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. And if you enjoyed today's show, please give me a 5-star review on iTunes. Just search Inspired Choices with Christine McIver. It will mean the world to me, and it will also help to get this information out to those that need it, to those that are looking for it. I appreciate all the emails and all the comments that I receive. It does inspire me to continue. But the reason I do what I do is so that I can continue to show up in the world and contribute what I know, to continue to cultivate a world that I want to live in, to continue to create the world that my children and grandchildren and great-great-grandchildren will enjoy. You have the power to do the same. Will you speak up? Will you stand up and contribute to the world in the way that you wished it was created for you? We all have the opportunity. We all can make that choice. But it requires each of us to lean in and be brave. What is inside of you, you carried here to release and share with the world. Next week, I'm going to be talking about open your eyes to the possibilities. Every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I am live, but you can contact me or you can cultivate and listen to all sorts of shows that I've done, over 400 episodes. Just look on your favorite podcast platform or TV platform. You will find it. Thank you so much, each and every one of you, for being here, for all of your comments, for all of the time that you took to really listen in and receive what I wanted to contribute to you. It really makes my life so much more joyful, knowing that I've contributed to someone else. Even one someone else makes a world of difference, because now you carry that with you, and possibly in the future, you'll share that with someone else. Until next week, my friends, I want you to keep leaning in. I want you to keep choosing you. I want you to keep saying, you know what? I can do this. I've got this. I can bring what I know to the world. And remember, Sparks of Hope, Shooting for Success, the summit is coming up on May the 9th. It is going to be outstanding. You can find all about that at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. And until next week, I want you to remember, you can always make another
Thank
choice.
you for choosing to listen to Inspired Choices Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, be willing to choose what you really desire. This is your life, making the choices that bring you all that you desire.